According to Bloomberg and Volpe, action research is a collaborative approach to a community problem that discovers a local solution. The essence of action research is taking an action to solve a problem during the research. One such example was the study of teacher evaluations and the relationship to assessments in Brooke County. One future study that is related to assessment is Bridging the Gap for Student Achievement Among English Language Learners, ELL. It is important to study the skills and differentiation knowledge of educators for subgroups such as ELL and special education, as reported by Batera. The outcome of student learning is often tied in with teacher evaluations and retention in employment. One problem demonstrated was that students with deficits, such as pupils with special education or English language services, were not showing progress according to the state summative assessments at the end of the year. According to Patera, however, assessments such as student portfolios demonstrated progress for students with rates of learning lower than their typical peers. When teachers learn more effective strategies for increasing student academic knowledge, scores on state required assessments can increase to support instructional effectiveness. One problem that this researcher will study in the future in the state of West Virginia is that educators are unprepared for students with limited or no English language proficiency. Only 2% of West Virginia's population speak a language other than English. Therefore, there is little need for specialized teachers that have certifications in English as a second language, ESL. Oftentimes, the jobs of instructing students with English language proficiencies is left to one centrally located ESL instructor, the core regular education teachers, and the special education teachers. According to this researcher's observations, the ESL instructor generally manages 5 to 10 students per school year and rotates interventions as mandated by the policies of the State Board of Education. These intervention lessons are generally no more than 90 minutes a week due to the widely spread roster of pupils per instructor. The regular education teacher's role in the education of ELL is to provide a differentiated, modified, and accommodated version of core curriculum in the classroom. The special education teacher usually provides additional services that can fall under specific learning disabilities or emotional disorder for ELL. Overall, this researcher has observed that successful strategies in differentiation has not been shared or utilized among the various academic knowledges and skills of educators. One study demonstrated how action research, especially its characteristics of interpretism, can benefit teaching English to speakers of other languages, TESOL. According to Brooke, the purpose of the study was to demonstrate how action research is suitable and valuable to TESOL. Since ELLs are very diverse, educators learn as they encounter different levels and backgrounds of students whose first language is not English. The valuable characteristics of collaborative interactions and introspective observations is especially useful when one considers that there are 196 countries in the world and an estimated over 7,000 languages spoken. One subgroup of ELL is students with limited English proficiency. The purpose of this researcher's study will be to implement a professional learning community and explore the effects of interdiscipline, academic knowledge, and best practices sharing among educators of ELL. ESL instructors across the district can provide explicit strategies and curriculum used during intervention sessions with students of limited English language proficiency. The special education teacher can provide detailed strategies for specific learning disorder and curriculum used during pull-out lessons. Regular education teachers can provide the core curriculum, grade level standards, and differentiation already used in the classroom. According to McNiff, action research involves asking questions that help to contribute to both a local problem and community problem that is known by the public. Action research can be used to solve hot topics in public schools, such as education reform. One type of education reform is to reach students who do not fit into the norms of academia. The target subgroups of education reform usually are special ed, gifted, and students whose first language is not English. Bridging the achievement gap is a term used to describe trying to speed up the rate of learning for students who do not meet the typical standardized norms of their same age peers. The research questions to be explored in my future research are: how has academic knowledge related to ELL increased over the course of the school year? What strategies and differentiation skills have been acquired over the course of the school year? How confident do you feel about teaching ELL with limited proficiency English? Coughlin contends that participants of action research want to make a change and are willing to participate in a kind of experiment to take action and improve a situation. Therefore, when choosing participants, a researcher must choose subjects with the same goals. The participants must also be those that can meet your purpose and help to answer the research questions. The participants will be, in my research, one English as a second language instructor, one multi-category special education teacher, and 7 elementary teachers that service Brooke Primary South in the Brooke County Schools District in Wellsburg, West Virginia. The subjects are all female, Caucasian, middle-class workers with at least a bachelor's degree in education. The ESL instructor has a certification, licensure, and endorsement in English as a second language and Title III. The special education teacher has a certification, licensure, and endorsement in multi-category special education, kindergarten through adult, and elementary education K through 6, and autism K through adult. The regular education teacher has a certificate, licensure, and endorsement in at least elementary education K through 6. The educators come from various backgrounds, live in various regions. However, Brooke County Schools is a high population of students from the surrounding rural areas with a low socioeconomic status and with various family dynamics. Only 15% of adults have a college degree. Levin found that collecting data and maintaining a trustworthy research project is dependent on factors such as duplication of data, remaining culturally sensitive and non-discriminatory, creating room for expansion or revision of the practice, and following accepted research design. Having a research partner to collect data in different formats, such as an interview instead of a survey collected by another researcher, is a way to avoid bias and inaccurate information. Levin found that including the researchers as part of the active research sets up a non-threatening environment where participants feel free to express their true experiences. For my action research, the researcher is an instructional support specialist and interacts with other educators to provide services to students with deficits in English language learners. The best types of data collection are observations, focus groups, and interviews. The data is collected by the researcher and the expert teachers for validity and reliability. According to Vescio, Ross, and Adams, PLCs have been an atmosphere of authentic responses and critical feedback. In addition, as demonstrated in their research, PLCs were directly linked to increased student academic performance as teacher knowledge and performance increased. This researcher will collect PLC notes as a form of focus groups, responses from pre- and post-interviews, and anecdotal observations during the course of the 2019-2020 school year. PLC meeting notes will contain the cross-curricular, cross-discipline, academic strategies, differentiation, and skills used in daily or weekly instructions. The ESL instructor will report on the components used during the intervention lessons. The special educator will report on procedures used during pull-out ELA, Wilson, and math workstation lessons. And the core teachers will report on the standards, objectives, and differentiation used in English language arts and math curriculum. The secretary of the PLC will maintain the meeting notes and provide a copy to the researcher. The PLCs will be an open-ended discussion with the focus on academic and skill learning for students with limited English proficiency, and aim to answer the questions about how the academic knowledge related to ELL increased over the course of the year, and what strategies and differentiation skills have been acquired over the course of the year. The interviews will contain the initial and final academic and skill knowledge, and self-efficiency of the ESL Title III instructor, the special education teacher, and the 7 primary teachers. The researcher will conduct one-on-one interviews with each staff member in a private office at the beginning, August, and the end, May, of the school year. The interview will be an open-ended questionnaire aimed to answer the questions about what strategies and differentiation skills have been acquired over the course of the year, and how confident do you feel about teaching ELLs with limited proficiency English. The observations will be anecdotal reports from the researcher. The researcher will observe at least one of each classroom environment: PLC meetings, Title III, special education, ELA or math, and regular education, and take detailed observation descriptions of skills and strategies used for students with limited English language proficiency, peer learning, and perceived confidence among educators. The observation records will aim to answer the questions about how has academic knowledge related to ELL increased over the course of the year, what strategies and differentiation skills have been acquired over the course of the year, and how confident they feel about teaching ELL with limited proficiency. According to Lesha, analyzation of data and reporting the results in the action research meeting meets the purpose and answers the questions of the research. The goal is to provide a solution to the problem that has been put into action and then studied to determine its effectiveness for improving a practice. Leisha states that this is extremely important in the education field, where teachers are constantly on a continuum of learning a new program or curriculum, mapping and creating strategies and lesson plans, implementing content delivery, providing assessment, evaluating student income, and adjusting the curriculum and strategies to learn more about our program and improve their own proficiencies. The results of the study on the PLC for teachers of learners with limited English proficiency will make an impact on the current education, providing a solution to a problem through action. Results will be related to the purpose and aim to answer the research questions. How has academic knowledge related to ELL increased over the course of the year? What strategies and differentiation skills have been acquired over the course of the year? And how confident do you feel about teaching ELL with limited proficiency English? The results will be analyzed, coded, and organized in themes. The category will be educators of ELL with limited English proficiency. The codes will be ELL specialists, special education, mainstream teachers, PLCs, interviews, observations, knowledge, strategies or differentiation, and confidence. The themes will be how these educators can bring their expertise, knowledge, and differentiation skills into the PLCs and the classroom to increase knowledge, learn new strategies, and raise self-confidence and efficacy, demonstrated through the responses in PLC meeting notes, interviews, and anecdotal observation reports. The participants will be given pseudonyms to protect the identity of staff members. The most common themes and responses will be organized in order of mode. The 3 most reported responses from the PLCs and observations will be reported to answer the question of how academic knowledge related to ELL had increased during the 2019-2020 school year. The 3 most reported responses from interviews, PLCs, and observations will answer the questions of what strategies and differentiation skills for limited English proficiencies were acquired. And the 3 most reported responses from interviews and observations will answer how confident teachers felt in teaching limited proficient ELL students at the end of the year compared to the beginning of the year. A PowerPoint presentation will be given during an end-of-year all-school staff meeting to prepare teachers. This research can help teachers better to increase their knowledge and skills for instruction of ELL, especially students with limited English proficiency, and therefore increasing student academic performance. In states where student performance is based on summative standardized assessments, which are tied into teacher employment, retention, and advancement, this knowledge is extremely beneficial.